Right, now I'm going to show this again, right? I'm going to show it again right now, and what I'm going to do is then break it down. I'll probably break this down a couple of times because it's very, very key what is happening in this image here, right? Because it's something that you've been used to seeing continuously, which is why it is being used, right? So she's holding the torch up in her right hand, yeah, but she's the queen of the night, but she's holding up the light, right? Now, if you see here, at the moment now, we're seeing lots of rainbows, but the rainbows that we're starting to see, they stand out a lot more than what they used to. Sometimes you can see them with the purple glow behind them, like you can see in this image here, but that isn't it, right? Now, I'm going to point something out to you here that you wouldn't have seen. There may be one or two people out there that have seen this, that have spotted this themselves. Yeah, and imagine how many different occasions that you've watched these so-called movies, which are designed to move your emotions. Now, if you just watch the screen here, yeah, you'll see. And now, as I go and explain all of this now, yeah, I'll explain to you why things are the way they are. This tells a massive story. So I'll show it, and then I shall break it down at the same time. So here we go again. If I pause it there, right, can you here, you'll be able to see a face, right? You can see a mouth, a nose, and an eye, and an eye, and two eyes, right? As this face spins around, yep, the Divine Feminine you'll see here, Sophia, yeah, she's holding a torch of light, of wisdom, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that's that 5 there. Yeah. Is this 5 here? The 1, 2, 3, 4. Circle of infinity. Right. Now, what's going to happen? This entity that you see here, that you've been looking at all of our lives, not really realizing it. As it spins around, she will end up giving him the light, the torch of limitless light, and she will end up crowning it right at the point of his center pineal gland. Right. Now, what I'm going to do there, I'm going to rewind it again so you can see it right from the beginning. Here we go. I'll do it once more. See? There we go, so you'll see the face turning, there's his nose, face with the rays of light coming from the pineal gland. Yeah. Yeah, so you can then go away and see that yourself, right? Now, the reason of showing that is because the occult world dictates the flow of the whole of the physical illusion that's being experienced. So what's actually happening is most individuals are being hypnotized in some way or another. Yeah, that is what is happening. Now, this ray, the light you see here is this 7 ray. Yeah, which is this is the 7 ray. So we've got 7, right? 7 heavens, 7 virtues. Yeah, 7 vices. So this is the 7 ray, right? Which is coming off the sphere of infinity, right? But the 7 plus the 7, as we've seen again here, the 7 plus the 7 gives us the 4s and the 9s, which gives us spirit and matter. So your vices and your virtues are all encased within one whole circle, right? They're all encased within one whole sphere of infinity. So you're not going to have your sins without your virtues anyway, yeah? And this is why a doctor is DR, and that stands for that, it carries a vibration of spirit and matter, yeah? We're dealing with light and dark here, right? Tesla stated that there was, we're looking at this, the fourth way here, and the fourth way that we've been looking at, which was along with this enneagram here, yeah, which enneagram means 9, yeah, 9 gram, yeah, and N means Lord, yeah. So when we're looking at that, what Tesla was also stating is that there is 4 laws, right? 4. The first one it was stating was that the source is a dark plot. The universe's source is like a dark plot, right? That the mind cannot perceive, right? And within it contains the whole of the universe, right? Like a dark abyss that we cannot even comprehend. Then he goes on to state that spreading darkness, yeah, the spreading of darkness, yeah, is actually a true light within nature, which is what I always also teach. All of these, I teach them anyway. We teach them because there is but only one truth, right? So we always said darkness, the light, you know, darkness is also a light, yeah? And that is the reason why that is, because the dualism that we experience is actually illusory, yeah? And there is a lot to be learned from darkness. Light comes from darkness. We come from out of a dark womb, yeah? And we're then born and birthed into the light, yeah? So this falling here, so when the knave or the jack and the conscience and the soul falls at this point here, this is the part where advancement actually can take place. And then they call it the riding of the goat, yeah? And then a Mason, a candidate here, the candidate would be blindfolded at this point. And then he would be able to put his sins behind him and then in order to look forward. Once he reaches this king status, you see how the king has got this double-edged sword? This is because he now has dominion over earth, fire, and water. Yeah, he's mastered that part, right? Because what actually happens with the king, when we looked at with his sphere of infinity here, yeah, he actually gains the ability through this threefold wisdom, yeah, which is only arrived at 12 o'clock, which is really 3, yeah, right. Yeah, through that, he gains the power of regeneration, being able to regenerate oneself, right? Now, there's something called torpid. I'm going to be doing lots on magnetism, yeah? And there's something called torpid, right? Where animals, they go into hibernation, but they also go into a torpid state as well. Now, magnetism is in alignment with heat. It is heat. So the light coming from the Father, yeah, impregnates the earth, which is the sun. The red rays that come off it, which is this IR heat, which also in alignment with the sexual interaction that takes place between those two fields, one we call the light of the sun coming from a central sun, and what we call magna matter. Yeah. So when that sexual interaction takes place, yeah, it then generates this heat. But this heat that is within the body, yeah, is magnetism, but it is an involuntary action, right? So when a bear is hibernating, they come out sometimes early. What brings them out early is if there is more heat than there should be. And this is why when they're going about global warming, the X, Y, Z, right? It's about balance. So what that heat does, it reanimates them and brings them back out earlier than they need to be. Yeah, because there's too much heat around. Because of the magnetism. It's the magnetism that is being increased. So if we wanted to bring an individual back to normality or back to life, yeah, or out of any suffering, right, we would have to put them in a passive state. The subject would need to be passive, yeah, and the practitioner needs to be then active, and then the active one then expresses its magnetism, just like Wi-Fi signal. What I'm explaining to you here now are advanced levels of why you're having social distancing, right? And then what happens is, even, I mean, if the love was there between them, it'd be even, then the chances and the power would be far greater if that was the case. But what actually happens is, the one that is active can now tend to the one that is passive. The one that is passive must now be in a sleep. It's called a magnetic sleep. The initial senses that are conducted by magnetism, those 5 senses, they then diminish. They then diminish. Now we head into the darkness. The magnetism, then goes to the locomotive functions, which is how we get people that sleepwalk, and then the work that people can do, astral traveling, and so on and so forth. But that enables the practitioner then to then go in, and apply magnetism, taking it to and fro into the subject and away from the subject, and it enables him, providing that he's in alignment with his energies, to then tether magnetism to that subject and then provide healing to them. That is how that can work, right? Which is phenomenal. But going back to what you just witnessed down here, going back to what you just witnessed there, the reason for that is, as I've been saying here, you have the liberty. They always make sure, say when they started off America, the 13 colonies, right? The Statue of Liberty, we see these things, right? The feminine on the money, right? Now, the reason that has to be that way is for very, very great reason, and it's because the mother is always denigrated, right? And there is another force, that is operating here in the background, that is in alignment with this, which is in alignment with this, right? But it isn't this, but it's not the father, but it is an active, and still a very active force, a very active force, that demands veneration in an egotistical fashion, real, and it's real because you can see it there. Here it is, and it wouldn't be, they wouldn't put it on here like this, if it didn't mean something desperately. Now just watch it again, please. There's the purple, there's the face, look. That's him there. That's the entity, look. And there she's crowning him with the light on his pineal gland. It's the same way that when we come into to March or April, when the Romans used to come into March, they had something called Martinus. And then what they would do, it's Martinus such and such, and what they would do then is they would then take the old man and they would beat him, And the reason that they would do that is because they're using the language of symbolism above word, And that is why that is done. But that language then is basically stating, look, out with the old and in with the new. What this is stating here is that we're taking a feminine energy, we're taking a divine feminine force energy, and then we're using that to crown a separate masculine force that has a separate agenda, that isn't in alignment with the progression of life and light, and the reason that you've seen him being recrowned there, is because you're the one. You're what's happening is you are the one that's holding on to its light. So because of that, they are doing this deliberately with this language above word. There you go. So I just wanted to show that again because it's massive. And then you also see the pillars as well. So you see here you've got the pillars there. One. So there we go again. You've got the pillars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got the 7-ray serpent, double 7-ray serpent, 7 plus 7. Bam! It's giving you 4s and 9s, which is giving you spirit and matter. And the spirit and matter, there is a child behind. There is a child behind that, an energetic force behind that, which you don't see, which is the crafter of the inorganic, artificial, realm that you've been currently experiencing, which doesn't feel natural and organic because it isn't, because it's being governed ultimately by a separate force. So, moving forward, if we're a little bit bitty, then that's also going to be fine too, because what I'm going to do is there's going to be quite a bit that I'm going to be going through, like I always generally do. So you just develop a slight little bit of patience. If you see that here, right, we have the next tone. So what this is this Venus. What we have here is the Venus retrograde. Now, as we're activating, we can we're tethering. We're re-tethering. When I go out into the when I go outside into the garden, and I go out there at 7:30 in the morning, right, AM. The reason that we're doing that at AM, because AM is giving us the true alpha male. That true alpha male is that true Christ light. When you go out there now, what's actually happening is, when the birds and all of nature, the birds, the cats, etc., when they see you on knees, on the, like, see what can be done. You can put yourself in an ultra-sensitive state. As I've been doing videos with, I've not been posting as much, which I'm going to be. You can put yourself in an ultra-sensitive state, and you can get your heels like this with your sun gazing, right? So that you're crouched on the balls of your feet. When you do that, what happens is you let out particular fields through pressures. It's all about pressure. That's what this is. This is pressure. Pressure mediation. It's all about pressure. Yeah. And when you let out certain pressures, yeah, you let out certain fields. These fields are all in alignment with plasma. What we really need people to really deeply understand when we're talking about working with plasmas, right? They are you. They are you. What you are doing, just like you're plucking away at something and igniting it like a fire. What you're doing is reigniting your flame here. That's all. That's what these are. Yeah, these they're gonna reignite your flame. Yeah, in various different ways. That one's gonna reignite it with just pure energy. That's why it's red. Yeah, and it's in alignment with your hemoglobin. Yeah, which is using iron. Yeah, so we're using hydrogen here, which is 5. So this is iron. This is 5s and 6s. So this is active master number 11. Yeah, that's what's being used there in order to do that. But you see, this is an active force that's being used here. Active force. Yeah, totally active. Right. So it's a fire that's gonna. But what actually happens is a flame that is within, right, which symbolizes light and life. This flame that is within, like a Bunsen burner, is firing too much. It can be too fiery. Too fiery. Yeah. Dysfunctional sensitivity. Yeah. This is what happens. So we are always looking for this centering force. But the plasma only knows the centering force. It only knows pure love. Yeah. That's it. It's not that it only knows pure love. Pure love is the law, is the universal law that it not only is governed by, but that is what it emphasizes, and that is what it is pushing outwards, and that is where the fear is coming from. That's why there is such a fear about CO2. See this here? There's a massive fear about these fields. If I leave these fields, if I leave this, then you see these, how they've come up, right? Then what happens is, if I leave it for days, they won't fall, some of them, until they get my attention and I realign my energy field back with theirs and then let them resync again. If I take this and spray it on my face, just like you can do this with urine as well to an extent, but it's not going to be nowhere near as effective, yeah, as what this will be. But when you use an aged urine shower, it is phenomenally potent, and it is phenomenally effective in terms of raising your internal plasma. I do it every single day. But when you put this on and you go and stand in the sun, your heart will now start to beat at a much, much stronger rate. If you breathe with this, you can now feel what breathing really is. Like I say, it's pneuma. You are igniting the vital force within you. That is what is happening. It's a vital, real force that is being ignited within you. When you increase these levels of plasma, Once you increase the plasma, now this will happen because it's only the beginning of the plasma. But a lot of us, we feel as though it makes us feel like the world, this is ending or something, and it's not. I'm getting told in the I know every day that this is just the beginning. I'm really excited. Just the beginning. Very, very early days, early stages. Now we have the ability here, yeah, like helium. You see, we're working with this blue flame here, so this blue and purple here. So it's very, very real. I'll show you right now how real these blue flames, how the bar meter, yeah, the divine, yeah, royal loyal serpent, seven serpent ray, yeah, Quetzalcoatl, seven serpent ray, right? How these polarities, how they are seven heavens, yeah, because you see this here, it will take you away. It will take you away. If you take this, yeah, and then your intention is to do that. Your intention is to be as light as possible, and your intention is to become as pure as possible. And you meditate, yeah. It will start to take you upwards out of your body straight away, yeah. You can feel it doing it, and the feeling that we feel. Those who do astral work stuff, you'll know what I'm speaking about. That samadhi, that total bliss. We know that that's what exists outside of this plane. When you are using this, it is now magnified 100 times over. And that is where, and the reason I'm so excited about it is because if some of us can begin to experience this, then we're all going to experience this, and it means that the spirit is incoming, which it is to break open any illusory scenario that we are currently experiencing. And that is when you see that entity, which is this demiurge behind Sophia that you've seen earlier, yeah, that is no different from the self, yeah. It's no different to who we are. That story is also happening within us as well, yeah. We are denigrating our own wisdom, our own Christ energy and our own wisdom, yeah, in favour of an egotistical daemon force that wants to serve itself, yeah. And that is what is actually happening on micro, but is also happening on macro at the same time as well. So going back to what I was looking at here. So the next tone is due to the Venus retrograde occurring in one of Venus's home signs, sidereal Taurus, right? Taurus is the bull of heaven, so we have the bull of heaven to do with Gilgamesh, etc., which we're going to look at, which is from Sumeria, yeah, the bull of heaven incoming. These again is celestial activity taking place, because the skies that we see now never used to look the way that they do now. The planets and everything were much, what you call planets, the luminaries, are much closer to the Earth than what they are now. So Jupiter has a massive magnetosphere, yeah, and it was at some points was able to rain down, as Marduk was able to rain down like a bull of heaven upon the Earth during previous resets. Yeah, these things have taken place. So it says this time begins in late April and continues through July. Right, the Venus retrograde occurs from May the 13th, right, through June the 25th. So here, right, we're working with 4s and 7s, right. It empowers us to redefine our values. What is of true importance? It brings emphasis to all matters of the heart. But the matters of the heart are always take place in those 3 months here. Yeah, March, April, May. Yeah, this is the rising of the flame, So here they're going to have a fire festival, but for them it would be the fire of Baal. Yeah, Belfast. Yeah, that's how it works. So it's being venerated. It has to be venerated in order for anything to take place here, because it's not being orchestrated by any physical man, by physical beings. It's being orchestrated by the king and queen. Yeah, that's how it's working. So they have to either venerate or manipulate at each particular point, right? But we already now know that the Hopi they were told they have to venerate the creators, they have to sing. But a sing is a psalm, which is a plasma. Psalm and plasma is the same word, singing. It's not that we see things get defined to us. What have they done? They've taken singing and defined it as something that somebody does on a TV screen who is hypnotizing you. They are hypnotizing you and calling themselves a star. Yeah, but in reality, you are the star. Yeah, because you are then made of that star dust, the phosphorus, right, coming from the light of the sun, incoming from those other fields, right, radiocarbon, yeah, these cosmic, these basically plasma fields that they transmute as they drop down into physicality. They drop down into physicality, the fields do. Some of them drop down as CO2. Yeah, what does CO2 do? Well, imagine this. If you understand this science, this is true science, right? How is it possible that the ingredient, the makeup of a star, you can see what a star is, pure light. Why would a star, yeah, then manifest itself as radiocarbon? Because that's how we define how old something is, by the radiocarbon that's in it. Yeah, right. How would that then somehow turn out to be negative or toxic? Yeah, if but an egotistical entity sat in the background, see, with the eyes, the head, and the nose, you could see it clearly. If you go and put it on your own screen, bigger screen or whatever it is you may have, you'll see it. You'll see it there, and it's amazing because that is what has been happening. And she's wearing the blue. She has the blue. She's wearing the blue robe. She's got a blue robe around her, and she has the right hand in the air. She represents Sophia, and the entity, the demon that you see in the cloud, clearly is this force that I've just been speaking about. So when this takes place here, when this happens, it brings emphasis to all matters of the heart, and it impels us to choose love and compassion over fear. And this is why, because Saturn's in Aquarius as well, and all these things take place, and then and also because you have Jupiter, Mars, and all of them. There was a massive alignment then in around March again as well. All these planets come together. These planets are making massive changes. In the 1300s, just before the 1300, massive change took place, and it involved the Knights Templar losing most of them losing their lives. Yeah. When this conjunction comes together again of Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto. Yeah. This is what happens. When it took place, I think it was 1989, that is when your technological revolution starts to take place. Yeah. The colours that we experience, etc., right? And some of the personality traits, like you have a ray of justice, right? They're incoming from these luminaries. That's what's actually happening, right? Now, it's vital if you want to maintain control using the narrative, yeah, of diminished self-worth and stagnation and lack and all the rest of it. The situation that's happening now does not in your favour. It is not working favourably for you, and that is why we continue to teach you, because it will be seen and made to look as though that is the case. Even over a long periods, you can look at, they say, oh, Agenda 21 and Agenda 30, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, these things are taking place, but they are not the only things taking place. But they are taking place, yeah, they are taking place to provide a distraction, yeah. It's because you see, there are beings that want to stab a knife through her heart, and that's what that entity was that you've seen behind her, because this is her. She's here, yeah. And so that's how things are going. So if we see here, right, it also brings emphasis to personal and global economics, which is one facet of the social infrastructure, and to any financial changes or issues that may have arisen at the start of the social tale reset. Now, the social tale reset pretty much started there, right, on the 22nd of December. That's when that really started. That was when it really got orchestrated, right? So now you've come from there. You've come from all the way to here. Now you're up here now, right? You're up here, right? Now I'm doing this. I want to do this in the hour of the moon, right? I'm not going to check it now because I'm using the phone. But I normally do these in the hour of the moon because I work with the moon. Because that is who I am. That is me. Those energies reside within myself. Yeah, help me to be intuitive and emotional and so on and so forth. But it was action with that moon there. Look, that's when that began, and that took place. Now, we're all the way up here. We've just come past this Valpurgis night, right? So that means there are forces, yeah, demonic forces, if you want to call them that, right? I don't like to use, I'm going to show the word daemon here means spirit, right? Yeah, now, here, right, once you've come all the way up to this point here, there is a feeding frenzy that must take place every single time. If you align yourself with demons, you sign a contract with them, yeah? Because you see, divine love, yeah, brings if we take divine love and turn it into a mercantile commodity, it brings death to the vendor, yeah? So anybody that's having anything to do with, anybody that is having anything to do with this, right? I'm going to go back to that and then come back to this, because sometimes there are things that they don't get put in. Right. Now, you remember this here. This is a band called Bros. Look. This is a band called Bros. Right. Some young boys. They were young boys. Right. Now, what they did here is they tuned in to people's, to your lost, but they also tuned in to a lot of women, some older women, you know, feeling sorry for young boys. Oh, they're tuning into your emotions, you see here. But they're tuning into your emotions they're using the X to do it, yeah? They're using the X to do it because the X is going to give you, it can be sacred and holy, but it's also going to give you profanity as well. This is how they use it, right? So what they did is when they took these two boys here, you see, like, they had this look, the blonde hair and blue eyes and so on and so forth. But what they did is this, they made the one of them more of a star than the other. So what you see here, which I shall show, which you'll see, he's wearing like this blue. They made him wear this red and blue to do these songs, but they also made him wear this goat figure here, look. Yeah, see, on his belt. He wouldn't have even known that they were doing that, right? What they then went on to do then is these boys. They got to this status where, because they're using black magic to do it. If you ever go back and look at this particular time frame, at end of the 80s to early 90s, you'll see where we were, what was wrong with us, what is actually what they did, how they're using these external what they call stars, yeah, in order for people to literally give away all of their power. But most people at this particular point were so entrenched within in this here, yeah? They're so entrenched within it, yeah? At that particular point, many of us were. Even as a child, I was, wasn't I? Yeah? We were. They had you there. Many people, yeah, doing all sorts. They were telling you, they're teaching you, look, that your masturbation is good for you. They're teaching you to mix. You see, what's happening with dualism here? They teach you to have strawberries mixed with wine. Yeah? You see, they don't go together. Right? Alcohol. This is what they were teaching. So it meant at those particular stages, yeah, that they had more control. The game was theirs to take. That is why. So what happened with these boys here? They got to the stage where they was turning down Michael Jackson because they were so big overnight. Yeah, singing songs. When will I be famous? You see, when you put these things out to people, yeah, when you put these things out to people, what happens is if you can say it in a particular way and put your intention there, yeah, you put it out and it comes back to you, right? But what actually happened was, which is very, very strange. You might call it strange. It's not. All of a sudden, their sister died. Yeah, all of a sudden, their sister died. When I researched and you look at it, very, very strange scenario. But what they said was, if you go back and look at it, it became massive, these boys. What they said was, yeah, that they didn't know who they were all of a sudden. And it was done deliberately, and then they got robbed of their finances. This is what these people do, yeah? Because it's all a game to hypnotise. And then they got robbed of their finances because their sister died. Imagine if you're a young boy, really, then they're asking you to still go out and do this performing, but it's not natural. Yeah, really, it's not natural because you've had a loved one, lost a sister, then they found that they couldn't really perform as well anymore. Then they found that where's all their money gone? And then what happened is, what happens is in this dualistic realm, in this more demonic realm that we was previously living within, yeah, what happened was, is they then got picked up to get slammed back down again. But this is letting you know that they are controlled. They are controlled, and he was wearing the red and the blue. And there was a division between the two of them. Yeah, they were using vices between the two of them. One seemed like a bit jealous of the other because they put one up on the stage and made the other one sit in the background. Yeah, always working with that dualism. But their symbol was this X. Yeah, the symbol is the X there, right? And so that in itself, if you looked at that scenario, you can see there how we speak about sacrifices, yeah, that bring around, you know, death to the vendor, right, for actually using divine love as a mercantile commodity. So this is why we always see the axe coming down upon the head of the one that is looking directly at the emblem of the flame of love, because he now knows, he now begins to recognize his immortality, and now he has the choice to gain either life and light or to use it for negative purposes. So, you know, you help people. We see you have to do these things anyway, because when you become more sensitive, it affects your heart. Every single virtuous act that you do affects you. I do virtuous acts. I don't put them on Facebook though, but I do them because it's something that must be done, because it's what we are. Yeah, because we are all interconnected, right? So when you see homeless people, etc., and you help them, all of these things are then adding. I add into your energy currency. They add into energy currency, adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. Because what we are doing is furthering life. Yeah, because you're seeing someone sit on the floor. Yeah, that is the opposite to the way that the realm works. Because if you go all the way back to what Tesla was saying, right, the second law was spreading darkness, as I said, the spreading of darkness, which is the true nature of light. Yeah, right. Then the third one is the light to become matter. So all light. This is light. These fields are light. Yeah. So that one there, they're incoming, and they're all light. I just want to find out one. Someone right down the back here. They're all light, and then what they do is they then manifest physicality. Yeah. And initially they come directly from light, which is what we are, which is light. So the aim of the game is to get as close as we can to that organic light. Yeah. Now the organic light, yeah, is light that is light that we can't actually see. The highest of light we cannot see. Yeah. White light and black light, these are superior lights. We don't see those lights with our visible lower five senses. Yeah. Mundane light. Yeah. So this is why we have to embark upon a quest to find that light. Just exactly the same way we have to embark upon a quest here when we income. Because we income here through the soul, we income here, right, really. We Cancer, yeah, through this hyperbole. And then we income through this hyperbole and we start here, right? Because of this, we start off in Libra, right? Now this is again Venus, right, which has the morning star, yeah. Now what happens is Venus will do one encompass around the earth, like a mother encompassing its arms around its child, yeah. But at the same time, Venus then also has its evening aspect as well, which is Lucifer, which is a light bearer. So which is why Sophia and Lucifer, yeah, are actually one and the same. Boom. Yeah, and that is the reason why. So when you come through here now, you come through and you are marked with this dualism. Yeah, you are marked with this feel of dualism within you. You are encased within both that light and dark. And then this is why we then see that fall. But then, as Tesla would then say, the fourth law, and there's four polarities to the soul. Yeah, as Tesla would say, so there is no beginning and there is no end, which is your 8. There is no beginning and there is no end. Yeah, so where we are, if we knew this, this is why we don't know this. This is where we live, right? And the reason we don't know this is because it emphasizes and it insinuates your immortal state of being. It emphasizes and it insinuates your immortal state of being.